Hello, everyone, and welcome again to the Hibee Buzz. What a great show we have lined up for you today. As you can see, delighted to say we're joined by Chris Cadden from his couch. Unfortunately, he's not on the pitch with us yet, but he will be soon, he assures me. So good to have you along, Chris. Thanks very much indeed.
Perfect. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
Good stuff. Adam is here as well, obviously from Hibs TV. And sweating his little chuffs off out in Croatia, in Rijeka, is our head of comms, Ben Jacobs. Are you all right, Ben?
As you say, I'm probably 99% water now because I come to you from the Rijeka coast where it is 35 degrees.
Brilliant stuff. Well, hopefully you'll be able to survive for the next half hour or so. Just to let you know who else we've got on the show, Jack Ross will, of course, be joining us as usual. Paul McGinn, we have been speaking to as well, and a little bit of fun with Martin Doyle and Porto to come later on. But of course, the big focus is what is happening Thursday night, the second leg of that tie against Rijeka. A huge game for the club. It must be hugely frustrating for you, Chris, sitting on the side, having to watch the boys.
It's been a frustrating time for us, obviously. It was, just to watch it's a lot more difficult than playing. I'll tell you that, a lot more nerve-wracking. It's been difficult, but the way the boys are now, they're in a great place. Obviously, after Saturday's win as well, they're playing really well and some good stuff. So I'm just looking forward to the game on Thursday now. Hopefully
well, it's interesting you say we've been playing some good stuff, because we have. You look at what happened on Ross County at the weekend, and when you hear comments from them saying that we're long ball merchants, we can't cope when they start playing football and pass it around. What are your thoughts?
I just watched the first half of Ross County. It's a bit, listen, they're entitled to their own opinion, but I think Jake Doyle Hayes has gave the ball away since he's came here, so I don't know what they've been watching. But no, obviously, I think the way the gaffer style of play and the way the boys are playing, from my personal point of view, it's been an absolute pleasure to watch.
And do you feel this is going to be a real way that you want to play football, that when you're back in the side, you'll be really enjoying it again?
Yeah, how could you not want to play in that? It was real attacking, possession-based. It was great to watch, and it'd be great to play. I know the boys were saying they're loving it as well. So it just makes you want to get back quicker and sooner, and hopefully that can come for me.
Was that a bit of a feeling after the first leg, Chris, that actually, we missed a few chances there, and we could have been, a goal, if not two, up, which would have been a much more comfortable position?
Yeah, of course. Listen, you obviously want to win your home tie, but I think the main sort of feeling after the game was confidence. I think for the boys, that's the sort of way I got for them. They were like, "Look, we're a good team." It's sort of like after that performance, it's like, yeah, we're a good team here. We can go and mix it with people in Europe and things like that, and a good Croatian team as well. So that's the sort of feeling I got after it. Sort of just being about the place was just sort of the confidence that the boys took for the game was brilliant.
Well, we want you back on the pitch as soon as possible. Ben, but before you melt any more, let's have a word with you. What's the feeling like out there? There'll be training Wednesday night, so it's a little bit warm and warm, obviously, when the game takes place Thursday evening.
Yeah, first of all, I think the feeling is everybody needs a pair of these, which are rascal sunglasses, and at least I can see you now, but I will take them off so we can talk a little bit about the Hibees. So, I love it, Angus. We're sunglassing off here. We'll get Chris to judge who's better, but I certainly need them because, as you say, it's 35 degrees, and the only advantage, I suppose, is that the game kicks off at 8 p.m. local time tomorrow night at the Rijeka Stadium, and it will be a little bit cooler, but we will travel down this evening to train 24 hours before the match day. And I suppose the other plus is that the last tie in the UEFA Europa Conference League was against Andorra's Santa Coloma, so it was also very hot, so the boys are well used to this kind of condition from the last away trip, but it might well be a little bit of a factor if it's sticky and if it's humid. But at the moment, they're just very much enjoying taking in their surroundings. They were out this morning doing running and a little bit of gym work within the hotel. And then around about 4 o'clock, we set off for the stadium, and they train just after 6 local time. So we'll cover that one throughout our social media as well. And there's just a buzz, because I think one thing that's clear in the squad is that we've got the momentum, and that's carried over obviously from last season. The Scottish Cup final defeat was disappointing, but if you take that aside, it's a confident team full of goals, it's a united dressing room, and that's spilled over into this season. And the truth is that Hibs under Jack Ross have been a very good away team because they enjoy playing quick and direct counter-attacking football. And I would imagine that that's going to be the message against Rijeka, to be positive tomorrow night, to make sure that we use our attacking weapons. And if we obviously can get ourselves on the score sheet, trust in that defence to keep a clean sheet and get through to the final playoff round.
Well, let's hear what Jack Ross's thoughts are ahead of this one.
Well, Jack, welcome to Rijeka. First impressions?
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful city, beautiful resort, but for us it's not really about that. It's about coming here to win a football match. So it's beautiful weather, but for us it's said being prepared properly for tomorrow evening, and that's what obviously we'll do over the course of today. As
you say, it's beautiful weather, but not necessarily ideal weather for football. How do you acclimatise to these type of conditions?
Well, the good thing is we, the kick-off's not till 8 p.m. tomorrow, and I think when we arrived last night, you can see the sun starts to set around 8:30. So I think the bulk of the game will be played in darkness when the sun's set, and that helps temperature still be warm, but certainly not the fierce heat we're in at the moment. And then beyond that, it's about our preparation from a hydration and nutrition point of view, and we're fortunate that we've got a really good, robust department in that sense here that look after the players properly, and also a playing group that buys into it as well.
What are some of the learnings from the first leg?
I think for us to repeat the performance in the main. Obviously try to make more of the opportunities that come our way, but we've got a team that's proven constantly they're good at doing that, and they're showing in the subsequent league game that they can do that. So for us it's just about replicating large parts of the performance from last week.
And obviously you're coming off the back of another league victory over Ross County, and you must have been delighted, particularly with the first half performance.
Yeah, I was pleased with the whole performance. I think it's unfair to just label it as a 45-minute performance. I think the Scottish Premiership's not an easy league to win games in. I think over the course of the whole game, given we had played Thursday evening, we were terrific in different aspects of our play. First half grabs more attention because of the creativity within it, but equally the game management in the second half was good. Clean sheet was important for us because we hadn't had one this season as yet. So yeah, just a really good afternoon for us to come into tomorrow evening on the back of.
Chris, there's Ben's talking, and Jack's talking about a possession-based game, but also quick on the counter-attack. And Jack says that you want to be positive in this second leg away tie.
Yeah, of course, that's the main thing we've got to do. I think we've been positive, and that's how we've got so many good results away from home. Obviously, last season as well. Europe's a bit different. Also, it'll be difficult with the heat and things like that. But you've still got to be positive in the players we've got as well. I think the team, obviously, you can feel that it's a positive team. It's full of attacking players, full of pace, full of running, and that's what we've got to do. So, looking forward to it tomorrow. I think it'll be a good game, and I think just positive. That's it. That's been the main thing.
Absolutely. Well, there is a positive buzz around certainly this squad at the moment, and Ben is out there with them, and Ben's been catching up with Paul McGinn.
Beautiful country. I'd heard similar. Not many tourists come to this neck of the woods, but Dubrovnik, etc. Everyone says it's really nice, and I can now see for myself that it's all true.
It can be a bit of a tight turnaround on away trips, but you've learnt a little from Andorra and taken the extra day, and that's probably going to be quite beneficial, isn't it, on the field on Thursday night?
Yeah, definitely. We've had quite a lot of games in quick succession, so that extra day over here to just settle ourselves in and get training tonight is going to make the world of difference. And hopefully we're here to do a job, and we all know that.
And is there any additional acclimatisation needed for this kind of severe heat?
I suppose Andorra sort of showed us what it's going to be like, and especially first half and Thursday night, I imagine it'll be really, really hot. So we need to maybe take a bit more time than you would in a Scottish game, but I'm sure we'll be fine.
And what are your thoughts and impressions after the first leg? What have you learnt from that 1-1 draw against Rijeka?
Yeah, well, I thought we were the better team. I think most people would agree, and it's maybe a shame we've not got that lead. But again, we're here. There's no away goals. That's not a thing anymore. So we're pleased. We're just in an even keel, and we hope to play as well as we did in the first leg, and this time make it count.
And really, for the last 18 months or so, you've been an excellent away team. You showed that at Motherwell as well. So I'm guessing the lads have got no fear.
Yeah, exactly. We sometimes suit playing away from home, so hopefully it's the same over here. And yeah, it's just we're confident at the moment, so hopefully we can carry on.
Adam, you've bit of news about Martin Ball. I mean, we're going to hear from Martin in just a moment in slightly different circumstances with Porto, and a nice little game that those two have been playing. But word from down under about Doyle.
Absolutely, yeah. He's been nominated for the Australian PFA Player of the Year, one of 4 Australian internationals nominated for that. It would be a fantastic prize for him if he was to win it. I mean, he's really the man of the moment, isn't he? At this period in time. I think Jack Ross spoke about him after the Ross County game, and he said in terms of domestically in Scotland, he's right up there with players in his position in this league. And he's just been phenomenal, I think, so far this season. 5 goals in 5 games for us, a real talisman going up and down that right-hand side. And one thing that probably goes slightly more unnoticed is his defensive work. Everyone looks at Martin Doyle and talks about his skill with the ball, his ability to beat a man, to get a ball in, to finish a shot. But also defensively, he does loads of work down that right-hand side to help Paul McGinn out as well. So his really all-round game is there, and this is a fantastic moment for him. And fingers crossed, he's awarded that accolade.
Yeah, that would be a terrific achievement. What's he like in the dressing room to have around, Chris?
Lively is the word I just describe him. He's been great ever since I came in. He's just so funny around about the place. You can tell he just loves being there. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, we've been injured now. I'm in, and most of the days off, most days I'm in. And he'll come in on his days off and just be about the boys. Him and Porto always seem to come in together as well. So they'll be in together. You can tell he just loves being there, loves being about the boys. He's in early in the morning, one of the last to leave, just absolutely loves it. And you can tell on the pitch, he's just loving his football just now.
Brilliant. And is he giving you any difficulties, Ben? Is he winding you up at all out in the heat?
You know what? I've been wound up so many times by Boiler on this trip, and we've only been here for 24 hours. So first of all, there was the entry onto the airplane where I'm filming the guys and I turn so I get their backs as they walk on the plane, and he turns around sharply and goes, "Rah!" And I'm like, wow. And I almost dropped the entire phone. Then I'm interviewing who we've just heard from, a certain Mr. McGinn, and who's behind me? It's Boiler again, making faces. And as we're going to hear in a moment, finally, we give him his much craved media attention, because I do think he likes being in front of the camera. And we say, okay, we're going to do something fun, and we'll find out exactly what happened in just a moment. But again, a little bit of a diva. Don't want to sit on the coastline. Don't want to sit on a high stool. Can we go in the shade? Can I sit in a hammock because it might be quite fun to swing around? Can I get water? I don't want tap water. I'm not a fan of the local bottled water. And luckily, he's in such strong form. And of course, I jest. He's a great character. He's a brilliant person to have around at the football club. But luckily, when you're in that kind of goal-scoring form, you can do what you please.
He's worse than Dolly Parton. She's got a rider as long as your arm. But it's good to hear. Well, you've teed it up very nicely, Ben. So I think we probably ought to hear from the aforementioned Martin Ball, who's with Porto here. You laugh, you lose.
What does Ryan Porteous do after he scores a goal? He turns off the Xbox.
Got PS4.
That was a terrible one.
Why was Joe Newell upset on his birthday?
Why was Joe Newell upset on his birthday?
Because he got a red card.
Yeah, that wasn't funny.
Do you know? Thank you.
Which team did we beat at Fir Park?
Motherwell.
Yeah, she's great, thanks.
Ben, I bet you had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I think what's really important, particularly with fans not being able to travel, certainly into the game anyway, Croatia is green listed, so we might see one or two that just happen to be on holiday here, but no fans can go inside the game. And a reminder, just to turn things serious for 10 seconds, that if fans are out there or still thinking about coming over to Rijeka, then there are no tickets for away fans, so don't come down to the stadium. The club can get a UEFA fine if obviously fans get inside or in any way gather outside the stadium. So we ask respectfully that everybody enjoys it if you are out in Croatia, but doesn't congregate around the stadium, and everybody else can watch it on Premier Sports, and our international subscribers can also follow it via Hibs TV too. But what I think is really important when the fans aren't here is to show that athlete-led content, to take the fans behind the scenes in the most authentic way that we can. And what we're trying to do is show you the personality behind the footballer. And what's interesting is that You Laugh, You Lose that we've just seen was actually the idea of a fan that messaged me on a message board and said, I like that bit of content. Why don't Hibs think about putting their spin on it? So then we took that idea and we've turned it into a feature. So if fans are listening and they like that and they laughed along with Boiler and Porto, then hopefully we can turn that into a content series and we're giving the fans exactly what they want.
Chris, I presume, you want to actually be close to the fans because you haven't had that ability recently.
No, obviously, when I came here in January, it was an empty crowd. So when I return, hopefully, all things going well, obviously with the recent announcement, there'll be a full crowd. So I went from 0 to 100. So that's just been the one thing I've been speaking to people about, speaking to the boys about, my family, things like that. It's just a full Easter Road. That's just one thing I'm just desperate to put in front of. Full Easter Road, just go there and experience it as a home crowd. Obviously, I've been there as an away player, but just to be there as a home player in front of the full Easter Road, it'll be a real special moment. And one of the reasons why you sign with Hibs is to playing games like that. So that's a real. It's one of my sort of motivations to get back as soon as possible, so I'll be able to do that.
And Adam, what is the latest on ground capacity for our next game?
So we've got the 2 stands open for the match against Kilmarnock, but obviously there was that fantastic announcement that we can fully open the stadium for our next Cinch Premiership game, which is magnificent and long overdue, to be honest. I think, like Chris said, some of the lads haven't had the opportunity to play in front of supporters, Hibs supporters, let alone a full crowd. And to be fair, I haven't seen a full Easter Road yet as well. It's something that I'm really looking forward to. I had a kind of taste of the atmosphere so far, and hearing the fans singing against Rijeka on Thursday night, it got my spine tingling, and that was only 5,600. So let's see what it's like when it's full, eh?
Now, talking about singing, Adam, when you went to Andorra,
yes,
you had to do your sing along.
I did. I sung "Three Little Birds" by Bob Marley. I heard Chris's was meant to be pretty good.
What did you end up doing, Chris, for yours?
You're just too good to be true. A bit of an old classic. I got the room lifted. The boys loved it.
Excellent, good man. So I'm just wondering, Ben, what you've got up your sleeve for your crooner vision tonight?
You must be so nervous.
Do you know what? The challenge is there's no other players, Chris. So we're the central acts, myself and Matt Newton, the digital lead. And what I'm thinking, spoiler alert, but I'll have probably sung it by the time people are watching this show, is instead of "We Will Rock You," I'm going to do we will Rijeka you.
Wow.
Ooh. What do you reckon?
What do you reckon? Well, I'm not sure. You just have to tell us how it goes, Ben. I think by Chris's response, we're not quite sure how that one's going to go down.
Just got to give it your all. That's my only advice.
Exactly. You go for it, Ben. I look forward to hearing how it goes. Back to the pitch then, Ben. The important thing of what happens in the match. Now, any sort of team news, any sort of idea of how we might shape up? Because obviously we've had a little bit of difference in formation the last few games mixed up.
Yeah, I think it's as we were, Angus, from Ross County. We've got a fully fit squad, at least as far as any knocks or shorter term injuries. And sadly, people like Chris, who have been out slightly longer term, obviously didn't travel with us. Scott Allen didn't come with us over to Croatia, so he's obviously out of the game. But Hibs are coming here to Croatia to win, and I fully expect Jack's starting 11 to reflect that. We know that there's plenty of goals in the team, and we wait and see what that starting 11 is. But really, the only thing we definitively know in terms of that starting 11 is that Scott Allen hasn't travelled with us. So he's the main player that is missing. Joe Newell is obviously back, as he was against Rijeka from the home leg, the 1-1 draw from suspension. So he can be factored into the mix as well. And the final name to talk about is, again, Josh Doyle, who, of course, a few weeks ago was linked with a move away from Easter Road. And at one point against Motherwell, he was removed from the matchday squad. And Jack had said on record that he's, quote, highly likely to leave. But then the transfer saga dragged on, and we've still, of course, got a few weeks before the window shuts. So Jack decided to take control of the situation and make sure that if there was going to be any delay, or if there isn't going to be a move, then Josh wasn't left ultimately floundering and in a bit of limbo, because he's a model professional and he loves Hibernian Football Club and he wants to play for Hibernian Football Club regardless of what happens in his future. So he was brought back into the squad, and obviously he's been involved in our last 2 games, and he's travelled with us here as well. So he's very much available for selection as well. And, you know, we've got an informed squad, we've got a strong squad, and there is a real belief here in Croatia that we can get the job done and set up that playoff tie against either PAOK or Bohemians.
Yeah, well, let's hope so, Ben. Less good news from the B-sides last night in the Trust Trophy, though, Adam.
Yeah, unfortunately, Hibernian Colts were beaten 2-1 last night by Elgin City in the SPFL Trust Trophy. It was a very young side, though, I have to add. It was a B team largely made up of under 18 players. A 16-year-old was on the score sheet for us, Murray Aiken. So in that regard, actually, the result was probably quite a good one in some ways. I mean, the experience for some of those lads, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, playing against full-grown men, probably for the first time or one of the first times in their career, will be a massive learning experience for them. And it was a highly competitive game as well. It's also worth mentioning that Ron Gordon was there to watch.
Good stuff. Yeah, I know there were some promising noises coming out of, despite defeat, there were some promising noises coming out of that game. So that's always good news as well. Chris, just finally to you, when can we see you back potentially?
Yeah, so I've started my running period just on the pitch, just stepped out of the gym, thankfully. So I'm on the pitch, I'm getting ball work, I'm getting closer every day. So I think around about a couple of weeks, I think I'll be starting to full train and really go through the gears. So yeah, it can't come sooner. I'm a very impatient person, so it's not been great this sort of the period out, but I've done everything right. I've not cut any corners, so hopefully when I'm back, I can put these injury worries behind me and I can kick on.
Good man. That's great to hear. Well, we hope to see you very, very soon. Ben, any final thoughts from Croatia before we wrap up?
Only to say that the lads are pumped up. There's a real belief in the squad. There's a real feeling of that support from back home. When we think of our European history, and let's just remind ourselves that the game on Thursday is our 100th game in Europe. So it is a real opportunity to consider our history as well as our present and our future. And historically, we know about Hibs being first in so many ways in Europe, the first British side to compete in European competition. And in addition to that, when you then jump a bit forward, those famous nights at Easter Road against the likes of Barcelona and Napoli, away days in Greece very recently when we had Super John McGinn score at the away end and the fans went nuts. So the players are acutely aware of all of this, and they know that if they can get through this tie, they're one game away from something very special. It's a chance for these players to get European football until at least December. It's worth at least 2.5 or 3 million to the club, which is massive during a pandemic as well. So when you factor all of that in, this is such an important fixture on and off the field. And there is that real sense of belief. So everybody is fired up. Everybody is keeping cool despite the heat. And let's hope for a positive result in 24 hours time or so.
That'd be brilliant. No pressure then, Ben, on the players at all or the club, but you've sold it very, very nicely. It is crucial, absolutely crucial. So we cross fingers and everything else. We all wish we could be there, but we can't. So we will be watching from afar. But Chris, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Spread the word. We're not the worst bunch to come on and talk to. We treat you kindly, and it's and we really appreciate you coming and joining us.
Perfect, thank you. Loved it. Thanks for having us.
Good man. Adam, as ever, thanks very much indeed. And Ben, go and put your 4th outfit of the day on. So
I'm going to have an ice bath.
Go and do it. Sam Allardyce always swears by that. So you and Andy Murray. Right, okay then. Thanks a lot, guys. And we'll see you lot very soon next week for the Hibee Buzz. Bye-bye.